Yes, it's working. Okay, cool, we're live. I'm excited. Some technical difficulties just a couple of minutes ago. Again, a second round. This sucks. So, welcome to Achieve with Carolina live from my home. You see my little flowers over there? The ones on the walls. I'm gonna wait for a couple more people until we start chatting today about daycare sleeping. So I know that that's a really important topic since most of our little ones, if they're not home with nannies or babysitters, they're in daycare. So sleep is an important piece when it comes to that, especially with rules and regulations that lots of daycares have. It also depends on the location that you are in. So I see that we have a couple of viewers. Say hi so I can give you guys a shout out. Let me know where you're from so I will know if we are still in New York or if I'm traveling right now virtually. So today was kind of a really cool day that I had, just to kind of talk a little bit before we start to go into the daycare sleeping. Hi Andre, hi Jane. Thanks for joining. Oh, I love seeing my regulars. So today was so, like, I don't know where the time went. It was just like flying by. Do you ever have those days? If you do, type in yes in the comments. Want to know. How was your day today? Was it easy breezy? Hi Abigail. Yay, I'm getting my peoples. Ava is not in daycare, but this should be helpful for me for the future in September. Yes. Wow, that's a long way for you, Jane. Hi Abigail. So hi Roseanne, thanks for joining. So we're going to be talking, I have like 4 pointers for you guys on daycare sleeping, and I wrote a blog a while ago on something called Daycare Syndrome. So I know, especially like from when my kids were little, oh, you're exhausting. I know, this sucks when you're not sleeping. So we're gonna try and get this figured out for you. So for the ones that are tuning in right now, we're going to be talking about daycare sleeping. And like for an example, like what I was mentioning is when my little ones were going into daycare, I started calling it daycare syndrome because for some reason, well, it's not really for some reason, but as you know, when kids are with other kids, they're like germ magnets. So they just like sponge off each other on all their germs and coughing and sneezing, and it's just disgusting. So it's like one big pastry dish that's going on in the daycare. So I call it daycare syndrome, where you'll have your child that would have a cold, they'll be sneezing, coughing, and then you'll take them home for like a week, 2 weeks, get them all healthy, back alive and energized, and they're back to their normal selves, and then you'll go back to daycare, and then like 2 days later they're coughing and sneezing all over again, especially during the winter. So a couple of pointers that I have for you guys. Hi Heidi, thanks for joining. Jane has a question. Today was a nightmare, but she's not feeling well for the last few weeks. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I'm giving you thumbs up, and I hope that she's going to feel really good soon. So thanks, Abigail, for the great topic. I'm looking for you guys. If you have any topics that you want me to include, let me know, and I'll be able to use those because we're going to be doing these videos daily at 10 o'clock. Since yesterday's video from last night, everyone gave me thumbs up and they really liked the time, so I'm just going to continue on doing that. So oh yeah, you heard that from all your friends about the daycare syndrome? Yeah, so it happens, but there's going to be a couple pointers that I want to give to you. So the first one is, how do you boost your child's immune system, right? So some people, they use, I think it's the name is Sambucol, where it's like elderberry. A lot of pharmacists like to recommend those when you go to the pharmacy, and they say, what's a natural ingredient. So that's something, if your pediatrician allows you to use that, and if your child is of age. But one of the safest components that you can use to boost your child's immune system when they're going to daycare is actually essential oils. And you want to use essential oils that are the top notch, best of the best. You don't want to go on Amazon and just type in essential oils and buy something that's like $6, because those most companies that are essential oil companies, they have synthetics in them. So what I highly recommend for you to do is, when you're purchasing essential oils, do your due diligence, do your research, make sure that you know the products that these companies are authorizing and what kind of farms that they're getting their essential oils in. Because for an example, if they have a farmland that they're getting their oils from the plants, making sure that they're not spraying their essential oil plants with pesticides, because then what happens is those pesticides are going to be combated and put into a nice vial for you, so you're mixing essential oils with pesticides. So if you guys like this video, if you like the topic, make sure that you hit share so we can get more people on, invite your friends, make sure you like it, so we're kind of keeping the conversation going. So the whole point of me doing this live is to make sure that I answer as many questions from parents as possible, all your pressing parental questions about your baby's sleep, and just sharing the love with everyone. So to continue on with that, thanks for all the love so far. I see that we're getting a couple of more visitors, so just to give you a little recap, we're talking about daycare sleeping. So the first part is essential oils and boosting your child's immune system. So there are actually two that I love, and they come from separate companies. There are two companies that I'm obsessed with. One of them is called doTERRA, I can't quite pronounce it, but it's DOTERRA, and I love their essential oils. One of their immune boosters is, I believe it's called On Guard. So you can check them out. The other one is called Young Living. So these two companies are very reputable. They have high testimonials. The way that they just organize their essential oils is fantastic. And I have a couple of friends that are working with the companies as well. So if you guys need some help with answering questions on essential oils, I could connect you with someone, so then they could give you like a Q&A. So just let me know. Either you could type that in the comments, or you could private message me after. So yeah, it's Germ Central Daycare is a hunching. Yep. So the essential oils, to go back on that, what you would want to do is, when you're using essential oils, is you need a carrier oil. So that's like olive oil, coconut oil, something that you could mix from the essential oil, because it's very potent, especially for little ones, because their skin is not as thick as it is for adults. So what you would do is just use like 1 or 2 drops, kind of mix it, blend it in your hand, and then you would rub it, and you would put it on the feet, and you would put it on the sides of the back, like where your spine is, but on the sides of it, and then just kind of lather them on a little bit right before they go to daycare or to school, and right before nighttime. So I did that. I remember last year, me and my husband got really sick, and I was so petrified that our kids would get sick also, because they just got over their cold from daycare, and I'm like, I can't deal with this again, so I need to do something. So one of my friends recommended one of the essential oils. That's why I'm so into them right now, in using them for different types of pieces, but specifically for immune boosting. So what I did is I used the essential oils. At the time, I think I was using Young Living, and I used their Thieves. That's their immune booster. So I mixed that with some coconut oil. I rub it on my hands, and I put it on my boys, and they never got sick. I mean, like, me and my husband were like dogs, like sick like dogs. Like, I was wearing a mask, those surgical masks. I was so petrified that they would get sick, and they did not get sick at all. They were healthy as horses. Where did that saying actually come from? But anyway, so I'm really happy that I know that it worked, and then I just kept using it, and then I noticed that throughout the winter, when I was using the oils, that they barely got sick. If they had sniffles, maybe it was like a day or two, but it wasn't like a week or 2 weeks. So essential oils are really big, so I want you to look into that. Hi Genevieve, hi Helen, thanks for joining. Just to give you guys a recap, we're talking about daycare sleeping. The next part is, after the essential oils for the immune booster, is making sure you're asking your daycare, where is your little one sleeping? So hi Milana, thanks for joining. You're mentioning those essential oils are spicy. I'm afraid to put it on them. They're not spicy if you're using a small amount, and you're also mixing them with the carrier oil. So if you just use the essential oil and you put it, yeah, On Guard is amazing. If you just put it on your hand or right on the body, it is really spicy, because their skin is not as thick as it is for adults. So what you, like I was mentioning, is you want to use a carrier oil, like coconut oil, and mix it a little to make it a little bit lighter, and it penetrates easier on that. So the second thing is where you're placing your child, where your little one is sleeping. And what kind of environment? Is it loud? Are they by, you know, like a window where there's a lot of light coming in? There are some daycares in the city that I went to recently that some of the nurseries, like the hallway was right next to the nursery, and there was a lot of light coming from the hallway, but they didn't have any blackout curtains or anything. And the little ones couldn't fall asleep because it was so bright in the room. And you know how by now, I always talk about how light is your enemy when you're trying to sleep. So one of the things that you would want to ask is, how dark does it get in the room? Maybe if they don't have any blinds, maybe the daycare is facing an area where the sun doesn't start beaming in, that the building is in a different location. So that's one component. The other one is, do they have any white noise machine? How do they place their babies to sleep? What happens if your child wakes up and you know, starts crying? How do they put them to sleep? Thanks for the like. So I love it. I love it. Make sure you're sharing and you're liking also. So thank you guys for all the love that you're doing. Okay, so to continue, making sure that they have blackout curtains. You know, asking them, how is the environment? Do they have any white noise? How do they place their kids to sleep? So when I was looking for daycares for my kids, that was, I didn't even care about the curriculum, and my husband was laughing at me, but mainly I really just cared about the sleep. So I would come in, I had my notepad, I'm like asking them all these questions, and then they look at me like, you know, I've never had anyone so intensely asking about the sleep. And then I explained to them, you know, that I'm a sleep consultant and all that other stuff. So, but to get back on track with, you know, with the daycare sleeping, is that it's important to understand their environment. And sometimes if you feel that it's not up to par, you need to protect your child's sleep. So you can ask them a question. So if it's bright in the room, you can ask them, is there another room that you can place my little one where it's a little darker? Maybe provide a white noise machine for them. You can do that. So kind of work with the daycare. If it's really important for you to work with the daycare in making sure that the environment for your child is perfected, because I've had many cases where I've asked the parents if they could send me a snapshot of how the child is sleeping, and the little one is in a stroller, beaming lights all over the place, and the caretaker is just like rocking them back and forth for them to fall asleep. Nobody in hell is going to fall asleep in that way. If you're being rocked with lights beaming on your face, it's not going to work. So no wonder why the little ones are not falling asleep, because they're not in the perfect environment. And some daycares don't really know that they need to create a healthy and conducive environment for sleep for kids. So that's where you would come in as the parent, because I taught you well. Okay, so then the next thing is, hi, okay, so Abigail has a question. Oh my God, yes, my daughter doesn't fall asleep unless her eyes aren't closed with a hat, otherwise she will never close her eyes. Yes, I actually have some families that do that. They have like these cute hats that you can actually pull over, and it has like little closed eyelids. But for some kids, they're so sensitive to light that some parents, they actually put like a little bit, like those bandages thingamajigs on their eyes to make sure that they're covered and that no light penetrates into the room or anything like that to wake them up. So some children are incredibly sensitive to light, and some do like a little bit of light. So like, you know, a cheap little night light that you can probably get like at the 99-cent store, which is very low wattage, you can use that too. But at daycare, they have their protocol that they have to go through. So you can't really ask them to bend over backwards for you, because of course they're taking care of your little one plus others, but you still need to find out how is the environment that your baby is sleeping in. So that's two. The third one is keeping a sleep diary. So I always have my families, when they're sleep training, to tell the daycare to keep a diary for them. Let them know when your little one fell asleep, what time they woke up. It should not be that difficult for them. They should actually be doing that for every single child that's there, keeping a diary, but they're most likely not. So doing one just for you, one, would make you feel special, and then two, it's going to help you. It's going to help you with sleep training your baby or your toddler, you know, when you come home at night or on the weekends. It's just going to make your life easier, because you don't want to be guessing on anything. Hi Larissa, hi Kelsey, thanks for joining. If you have any questions, let me know, type them in. We're talking about daycare sleeping. Jane says, do children who usually get rocked for a minute or two before they fall asleep at nap time only have a more difficult transition in daycare? Hi Serena, thanks for joining. No, not necessarily. It depends on how intense the rocking is. Sometimes if they're so in-depth associated with the rocking, then yes, the daycare might have to replicate that. And then what happens is sometimes they might need to have a specific personnel that's just with your child. So I've had that in cases before they hired me, before we started working together. Thanks for the love, guys. Before we started working together, that it got so out of hand that the parents literally had to be rocking their little one at home, and then the daycare had to rock them consistently, or the nanny in the daycare would have to hold the baby the entire time in a separate room. So every child is different. It depends on how intense the association is on the rocking or any type of other piece that you might have that your child needs in order to fall asleep. So just kind of keep an eye out on that. If it's not that intense, then it shouldn't be a problem in daycare. But if it is intense at home, most likely it will have to be replicated. I don't want you thinking that if you're doing something at home and then all of a sudden your little one is going to go to daycare, bing bada boom, everything is great, and then they're going to be sleeping peacefully. That's not the case. If your child has an association already at home, 99% of the time it's going to repeat in daycare. And then what happens is the daycare will have to have one specific personnel just for your child, and then you're going to get a phone call from the director saying that they can't continue and that something has to change, and that's when you call me. So we want to keep the associations at a minimum or none at all. Let's see. Jane, you're saying, I've heard children adapt to daycare sleep because they see each other sleeping. Yes and no. It depends on the age. Most likely it doesn't usually happen right away. It might happen later on. For an example, if your child is going into transitions and naps and you're having a difficult time transitioning them, it's going to be easier sometimes in daycare after like a month or so for the transition, because they are put on the same schedule every day with other kids. So sometimes it helps, but I don't want you to get your hopes up. So if it doesn't happen, I don't want you to be upset and say, well, I was told that this and this can happen. It doesn't work that way for every child. Everyone is different. So you want to kind of keep your, eyes open and know your child. Nobody knows your child better than you. So just to kind of, keep that in your back pocket and know that, things can change down the road. Very light, but she associates it with napping at night, and we do cry it out after she finishes the bottle. Okay, cool. So you have a plan. So that's cool. So then that's really good. So yay, you have something that you're working with. Hi, Samantha. Thanks for joining. So just to recap, we're talking about daycare sleeping. We did the Daycare Syndrome, which we're using essential oils such as On Guard or Thieves to boost the child's immunity. Then you're going to find out from the daycare where your little one is going to be placed, making sure that the environment is perfect. Then you're going to ask them to keep a sleep diary for you. So some daycares actually use apps that you can work with them and go on your phone. Ask them what's the easiest way. Maybe they write it down in a journal, they'll snap you like a picture. Hi Anna, thanks for joining. Maybe they'll send you like a picture on your phone. Maybe you give them a book, like a log. That will be easier for you. So, get creative in it. Just keep it open, like an open dialogue. You don't want to walk in and tell them, hey, this is what we're going to do to get my child to sleep well. It's, a family unit. And then the last part is you want to protect their sleep as much as possible. So what I mean by this is, for an example, let's say their naps suck at daycare, or they're not having them at all, right? You come home, you had a long day at work, and you missed bedtime. And, you can't put them to sleep early enough. So what you would want to do is either the next day, try and do an earlier bedtime, or if that's not possible, if early bedtimes are just not feasible for you, what you would want to do is on a weekend, make up for the loss of sleep during the week. So what you would do is you will bump up bedtime heavily, and that's how you would balance it out. So sometimes kids, they don't take naps, they'll just kind of sit there wired, or they'll just kind of, play quietly with their toys, and then when they come home, the time just passes by, their melatonin level just drops, which is their sleep hormone, the cortisol level spikes up, which is your stress level, and then you're just kind of going at tantrums because you came home late, you had to put dinner on the table, you have work to finish, and just things are not going great. So on days like that, don't worry. I need you to, just to stay calm, wait it out until their next cycle of melatonin rises when they're calm again. Because if you start trying like a circus act for them to fall asleep, it's not going to work for you. It's just going to blow up in your face. So just stay calm, wait until the time passes. It can be usually 45 minutes to an hour, so kind of just have that in the back of your mind that, okay, I just have to wait this out until the next cycle goes, and then I'll put them down. Then what you'll do is that weekend, no parties, you're going to focus solely on sleep to make sure that their sleep is perfected, and that you're balancing it from the lack of sleep during the week. So I need you to, if daycare naps suck, focus on the weekend if you can't do it during the week. Make sense? Give me a thumbs up or say yes in the comments. If you guys want to share this video right now, go ahead and share it with your friends so then they could come on and maybe ask me some questions. If you have any questions related towards the topic right now, oh, thank you, Jane. If you have any questions about what I was talking right now about the 4 tips for daycare sleeping, let me know. I can reiterate something. Or if you have something that's kind of on your mind that's been bugging you, maybe my hairdo, let me know and I'll be able to answer it. So Jane asks, even my husband is watching with me. Oh, hey hubby. Does he have any questions for me? Let me know. We're going to be on for a couple more minutes. So I guess I'll just stare at my screen. Not yet. Okay, cool. So I guess we're not getting any questions, so I'm assuming I was very informative this evening. And I love all of the feedback that I'm getting. I love all of, the questions and the comments, and thank you. I'm glad that it's helpful for you. So if you, again, have any specific topics that are important to you, you can comment and I'll be able to answer them on the next video. For everyone that's watching the replay, I love you. Thank you for watching the replay, and make sure to comment also, because this isn't just a one-time hit wonder live. I do go and follow up with everyone that does comment later on during the replay as well. So if you do see the video later on and you're watching and the live video has passed, make sure to, plug in. You can share the video if you like it also, and let me know what you think. If you have topics like I mentioned, make sure to put them in, or you can private message me if you like. Make sure to schedule a one-on-one consultation with me, a free introductory one, if you have anything that you want to ask that you were kind of a little bit shy and you just want to do one-on-one with me. So I'm open. I don't bite. I love talking to people. As you can see, I'm a big blabbermouth. So just let me know. Abigail says, my husband thinks so too. Yay, I'm getting hubbies on here. I just hope they have questions. Okay, so let's see, what time is it? It's 10:27, so I think it's past my bedtime. I think I'm gonna go. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay. Guess not. So sweet dreams, everyone. I will see you tomorrow, 10 o'clock sharp, unless something happens to live again. So then that'll be 10:05 sharp. Okay? Sweet dreams. Love you. Bye.